Hey guys, Kane here, and in this video, you are going to see that I have swapped to a new server, and there is a pretty good reason as to why. So, usually in majority of the games, when I'm trying to play them, I usually try out a server, see how well it does, kind of wonder whether I have the best formation or not, and usually test up some stuff like in the shops, test some stuff in like particular events, as well as what kind of rewards and how much I am able to get them and all that kind of stuff. And on my previous server, I kind of made a lot of mistakes, or not mistakes, I didn't actually get quite a few of the rewards, even though I've spent some money to reach like VIP 4 ish, maybe 5 by the end. I know I spent about $50, and on this account, as you can see, I've only spent about $1 or $2. I kind of forgot, and I'm only VIP 1. However, on the rankings in my server, I am currently rank 5. Majority of the other guys are already quite high in the VIP level. So we have VIP 9, we have 5, I think this guy is 3, this guy is 4. I do think we have some 6s as well somewhere. So yeah, my server is quite decent on the VIP levels, but I do think I can manage this server as a low VIP and still be competitive against majority of them. And the simple reason is that majority of these players are not running the elves and assassins, which at the moment I kind of deem as like one of the stronger races in the game. And not stronger races as like in the majority of the content. By stronger, I mean events such as this. They will all the time top like these challenge stages, probably like a couple of weeks from now. Maybe a week from now ish. Right now, it's very hard to actually top the scores because there are a lot of features still locked, a lot of features that will increase the assassin damage. Now, there is a thing that I also want to touch on. So basically, there is a thing where you cannot PvP a ASMR and Mage faction in the early game. So this guy was like 350,000 power, and his Zion was one-shotting my entire field. Now, on my previous server, I remember that the enemy had like a Zion with like 1.4 million power versus my units who were like 500 up to a million power, and even casting 2 skills of Zion, my field was not dying at that particular time, which was like 2 weeks into the game. So pretty much like in the very early game, elves and shadow blades cannot actually like properly PvP the Asimar and the Mage race, but I do think they can properly PvP majority others. So that aside, the reason for me choosing like the elves and assassins is pretty much simple. Like majority of the rewards I will be able to easily achieve like max scores. I know quite a few of these bonds, or however like this event is called, bonds challenge, I wasn't able to max whenever I started out, and that's because I made a lot of mistakes, I made poor choices, and my formations were not as strong as like they are now. So as you can see, the first day on the server, I am level 31, which without buying a particular pack, you are not going to reach a very high level. So for example, if we go on to the speed ups, you can only speed up twice. But if you buy a particular pack, you can get about additional 2 plus 1 or 2 more speed ups, usually what people would buy. So that would increase my level up to about 42, as like majority of these players have stopped at. As you can see, 42, 43, and all that kind of stuff. So they have unlocked a couple more features, but essentially features stop uh, somewhere near like 14th campaign or 15th. somewhere there. So there is really not a very huge rush. Eventually, I will reach that as well. And like, there is no big issue in just like waiting as I am doing and whatever. And essentially, those features are gonna come, and it's not a very huge loss. A huge loss would be like not unlocking the hidden tower and whatever a few days after somebody else would unlock it. Then probably that would be kind of bad because they would have a few days above you, perhaps some gold experience and whatnot ahead of you. Whether or not it's a lot, who knows? But all that kind of stuff, everything else is pretty, I don't know, is the same whether you unlock it faster or later. Like this one, it doesn't really matter as the main one unlocks after like 1 week anyway. So like the basic of the church trials doesn't give an insane amount of rewards anyway, so you can just unlock it on day 2 anyway. So that aside, starting out, so the most efficient way would be to re-roll until you get the faction that you want to play. And the faction that you want to play is usually not going to appear majority of the time unless you want to play one of the few basic factions. Now, I've made about 20 accounts, and out of those 20, I only got elves and shadowblades once. Majority of the time, I was getting dwarves, elementals, and hunters, and also humans and knights. I didn't get even a single one from the orcs and warriors, and perhaps I got like one or two Aasimar and mages. So probably like the game knows a lot of players are playing like the elves and the shadow blades, and they want people to swap to the other races. But currently, personally, I do think the elves and the shadow blades are the stronger race. Whether or not they are like mid and late game, I don't really know, but they do swipe majority, or rather sweep majority of the PvE content early, and for most free to play or small spenders, like that is a must have to max out all of your rewards to upgrade faster, better, and all that kind of stuff. That aside, you can still pick like different factions if you want to play different factions, and all of them do a different thing. So, for instance, the elves and the shadow blades, they are very bad at particular event bosses. And by event bosses, I mean bosses like such as cube relics, right? I am stuck on this boss because every some percentage this boss just wipes the entire board. And the thing about like the elves and the shadow blades is that they do not have healers, they do not have the buffers, all that kind of stuff. They do not have shields. They're just basically raw burst damage. And that is what kind of like has a weakness on this faction in general. Like majority of the other factions, they have some healing, they have some shielding, they have something that perhaps can debuff like the enemy and not make it like kill your field in a couple of seconds. So quite a few other players can easily pass the bosses with like different races, but you cannot pass them easily. However, other event bosses, like such as let's say this one, the elves and the shadow blades will easily top score almost every one of them. And there is probably like literally no other race that can actually top that. So yeah, keep that in mind. Like particular bosses, the elves and the shadow blades are pretty bad at. Now, as you can see, first day, I already have one of the core heroes at Legendary Plus, the elite hero Sasan Legendary Plus, and the other 4 at Legendary. I did not have even close to this the first time that I had started the server. So that is a pretty huge boost considering the first day on my other server I had VIP 4 or VIP 3 already. So the difference of me not even spending that amount of money and having a stronger formation is a really huge thing. And that is where like the majority of the efficiency comes from. I rerolled until I got like the elves and the shadow blades, which saved me like one core hero plus a few other epics plus a few other elites. And then I was just doing the PvE content. Then I went to this event, then PvE content, then this event, and that is how I passed like these three stages, and how I got like this kind of power. You have to juggle between a few PvE events because you cannot, how can I say, properly reach a very high score whenever you actually do that. So you need to power up, then do another PvE event, which became easier. Then this one became easier because you powered up from the previous one, and you have to juggle in between events until you hit like a wall. And the wall comes from around you having majority of these units legendary whichever race you play, unless you split too much. So that aside, that is pretty much really for the first day on my server. I think I'm going to go to sleep pretty soon, and there's still about 12 hours left on the first day. So whenever I wake up, I will do some PvE content. I think I will hit like level 35 up to level 40ish on the first day, question mark. So majority of the time, if you start at the very beginning of the server, you will manage to hit level 40 or very close. Perhaps even you would be able to unlock the church trials without spending money, or you will be very, very close. And that is kind of important. So, for example, if you would join the game or the server like 12 hours late, you would be missing about 5 levels from your account. And 5 levels is because you get 10 experience per minute. It doesn't change even when you reach like level 100 plus. So if you don't have time to play whenever the server comes out, the only thing that you're required to do is just log in to the new server, and this will just be ticking and giving you experience, which is very, very important. And everybody has to remember that if you want to be efficient and go to a new server, you have to start from the very beginning of when the server is released, which is 20 minutes after like the initial reset of the server, somewhere around that time, plus minus about 10 minutes. And that is like the most efficient way. That is probably like a few skips, if anything, that would like benefit you. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. I will cover up more stuff on day 2, 3, and other stuff like that for probably a whole week, just to have a note for players to what to do, how to do them. I will be showing some of the like event fights like cube relics, like cave challenges, all that kind of stuff. Perhaps even show some PvP in the next videos as well in terms of like the basic formations. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay safe out there.